Hello, I am making this video to go over the directions and questions for our digital novel study of Maniac Magee. Before you do this assignment, you will need to watch the video of me reading Maniac Magee chapters 1 through 6 on your Google Classroom. The video of me reading will be listed underneath the topic of reading on your Google Classroom. This Google slide will also be on your Google Classroom underneath reading. When I open up the Google slide, the very first slide is a title page that tells us this is a digital novel study of Maniac Magee. So I'm going to click on the second slide. The second slide comes up and for me, it's kind of small. I can't see it very well. So I'm going to go up to View, Zoom, over to 100 and click on 100%. And when I click on 100%, you can see that it gets much bigger and I can see it better. First thing I want to do is read my directions. My word journal, page 1. Choose 2 words from chapters 1 through 6 that you would like to learn more about from the word bank. Complete the activity. These words in the word bank are the words that I go over in my video of me reading chapters 1 through 6 of Maniac Magee. So if you need to review these, you can go back and watch the video and pause at the spots that you want to review. Trestle, hoisted, clamoring, mirage, carcass, stupefied, and cinders. Now, in order to see the rest of this document, I need to scroll down. So I'm going to go over to this sidebar right here. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to drag this bar down. And as I do this, more of my document comes up. So you're only going to choose 2 of those words. You do not have to do all of those words. Choose 2 that you want to learn more about. So right here, it says text here. When you choose your word, you're going to double click right here. And you see when I double click, this text box comes up and you can type inside this text box. One of the things I want to do too is I want to delete where it says text here so that I can type. So I'm going to type, I'm just going to choose any word, and you can choose what word you want to. Carcass. Oops. Don't need that either. Then I would go over here and I would do the exact same thing. I would double click, backspace to delete text here, and start typing the definition. And in order to see that definition for the word, remember, you can go back to my video and pause. Then I would move over to the next box, click backspace. And here's where I would type a sentence using the word that I chose. And you would do the exact same process for this part also. Now, when I'm finished completing this slide, I'm going to click on my next slide. And I'm going to scroll back up so that I can see the entire slide. And I'm going to read my directions. After reading these chapters, record your thoughts, favorite part. And then it says right here, text here. Now, of course, you're not reading these chapters. Now, you may be able to find these chapters online and read them. And some of you may actually have the book. So if you do that, you're welcome. That'd be great for you to give you a chance to read this book. But remember, each week I will make a video of me reading chapters of Maniac Magee. So right here, your favorite part, you would click. And once again, the box comes up for you, the text box comes up for you to type, and you would delete text here. And then you would type what your favorite part of the book was. And I'm going to go to the sidebar again so that I can scroll down. And you would do that same process for each section. An important event that happened in chapters 1 through 6. An aha moment. An aha moment is when you're reading, you're like, oh, wow, that is so cool. I figured that out. A question that you may have. Any question that you may have about the story or any question that pops in your head while you're reading. And I predict. Remember in our class, we talked about predictions and how we use our inferences and we read between the lines to make up predictions. What do you think is going to happen next in the story? Now, after I've completed this slide, I'm going to go over here and scroll down so I can get to the next slide. And then I'm going to scroll back up so that I can see this entire slide. Text-to-self connections. Maniac Magee. How can you connect with this story? What happened in this story that has also happened to you? Do you connect with the characters? And when I have my answer and I'm ready to type, I'll once again double click and the text box comes up and I will backspace. Because Mrs. Shane doesn't want to read text here. She wants to see what you have to say. So if you remember when I read the story in the video, I had a text-to-self connection. My text-to-self connection was when he received the book from Amanda. It was about the Children Crusades, and we learned about the Children Crusades in our classroom. So that was a text-to-self connection I had. Now, you may have a different text-to-self connection. You might have had a connection with one of the characters. So in this box, you would text any connection that you made with the story. And then when you're finished with that, you will click on the next and last slide. Now, this slide asks you certain questions about chapters 1 through 6. The first one says, explain Jeffrey's living arrangements for his first 8 years of life. The details about his first 8 years of life are in the very first chapter that I read. So I would double click here. Text box comes up. I can delete that and type in my answer. And you would do that for each question. The next question says, what causes the beginning of Jeffrey's running? And if you forget any of these, go back, rewatch the video, and pause when you need to. Explain the immediate attraction between Jeffrey and Amanda when they first meet on a street in the Mills. So when you go back and you listen to the video and you hear me reading, what happens between Amanda and Jeffrey? What does Amanda have that Jeffrey is interested in? How does Jeffrey rescue a kid with the Finsterwallies? And when you finish completing, you will submit this work. When you finish all these slides and put your text in it, you'll submit your work. So be sure to watch the video that Miss Ming has made a video that shows us how to submit our assignments. Make sure you watch that video so you'll know exactly how to submit this assignment into your Google Classroom. I can't wait to read all of your responses. I'm excited.